Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, Keeley Talks. I just realised my mic is the wrong way for some reason. Anyway, I hope you're all okay, and thank you for joining me. This stream isn't going to be as long as usual. It's probably going to be like about an hour long today. Let me just say hello to the guys popping in right now. Hey Sean B, how are you? And we've got Erin Cooper, hi, love. Bettina, hey. Tina Flowers, hi. The chairman, Screams of Anubis, Catalyst. I know it's a typo, but I love it because I've seen that you corrected it, but I love it. I'm forever doing typos. It's annoying. Hey, Linda A, how are you? Hey, JFD. I know JFD is going to be live in a little bit. Make sure you check that out. I think it's going to be at 7 p.m. EST, 12 a.m. UK, I think. We've got Janet O'Brien as well. How are you doing, love? And we've got, I already said hello to Evan Cooper, but I'm going to say hello again to you. So obviously you guys have seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title. So I'm going to be doing a few different things today. Like I want to go through a Johnny Depp third article that I found. And in a little bit later on, I'm thinking about connecting to see if we can get anything that's going to come up revealing about this case with the cards. Also, I might do a few readings if people want them in the chat in a little bit later on. But like I'm going to look what articles. My internet is going a bit down at the moment, so I do apologise. But as I was saying, I just went to see what articles there were about Johnny Depp going around at the moment. Alright, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but this seems to have been a big change with everything regarding Johnny Depp, regarding the mainstream media. Like, since this whole kerfuffle, this whole case has been going on, everything has been pro Amber Heard. And now, when you search her name, when you search Johnny Depp's name, every single thing that you say is Johnny Depp's win, and it's just like you guys might not have noticed it as much, but for me, for doing these videos and stuff, we tend to look up articles a lot, to see what's going on. We tend to go on Google and see what the mainstream media are saying, what lies they are going on about at the moment. But every single article on the first few pages is just Johnny Depp wins, and it's regarding obviously the recent win that he's had with the ACLU. Linda says, such a nice surprise you're doing a live. Felt a bit lonely, and live streams always cheer me up talking to everyone. Me too. Like, I have invited a few people here. I don't know if anyone's going to turn up or not. We will see. I know that Gary is like literally flat out, but he didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Like, he was up late watching. I like turning him into a bit of a Doctor Who fan. So he was up late watching Doctor Who with me, and then he's been in work all day in the heat. So he's flat out. Yes, Katina, I've never seen you before in my streams. I think it's first live with Keeley, of course. I love podcasts. I have a Greek mythology set I use right now, so excited. So with me, I personally use oracle cards mainly. But I just started using tarot cards. I've just started learning them. I'm getting the hang of them right now, and I did a reading regarding this case earlier, which I'll tell you what it said, but I thought I'll do another one as well to see, because it was basically regarding Amber Heard and how she was feeling, so it was really interesting. really, really interesting. Yeah, so JFD will be live at 7 p.m. CST Central Time. So that's 1 a.m. my time. Is that right, JFD? 1 a.m. UK? Basically 2 hours and 10 minutes from now. Let me know. So sorry if I'm glitchy right now. I keep getting the symbol coming up saying that my internet is a bit low. So I apologize about that. Hey, how are you doing? Let me just turn the data off on this. That could be interrupting it a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. I need to get on my internet provider. Let me know if I'm glitching on you guys. Please let me know. So yeah, 1 a.m. UK. Well, it's British summertime in it, Linda. I get mixed up because GMT is like the winter, isn't it? At the moment we're like GMT plus 1. Yeah. And I think she's gonna be covering one of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, which is pretty cool. So back to the Johnny Depp stuff. And I found an article that's nothing to do, well, it is a bit to do with the ACLU. It's more to do with Aquaman. So I thought I could quickly go through that. Because this is like the mainstream media like trying to test the waters here. I think they're starting to see that people are truly serious about this. I think it's really interesting what they were saying here in this article. It's by FanFest. And it says, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has finally entered production. Based on some behind-the-scenes stuff, it looks like everyone is excited to get back to work, even Amber Heard. Aquaman fans have been threatening to boycott the movie because of her, but will fans really boycott the film? Question mark. Like, how is that even a question at this point when there's been so much noise about this everywhere? Where people are listening anyway, there's been a lot of noise regarding the boycott of Aquaman 2 because of her. Anyway, it goes on to say, the Amber Heard debacle has been going on for a little while now. Hey, Veronique P, how are you? It's been going on for a little while now, and the whole thing has been a mess. Based on the little I know conclusively, though, it doesn't look super good for her. People are still furious about the situation. Sorry about that notification, guys. Obviously, people are still furious about the situation because the person who is the actual victim in this whole debacle, as they go on to say, is Johnny Depp. He's the one who lost part of his finger. He was the one who got a sig put out on his face. So this just gets me all sorts of angry. Obviously, people are so furious about it. Anyway, it carries on. In fact, if you look at the Amber Heard hashtags on Twitter, they're not good. Typing in her name prompts hashtag Amber Heard is an abuser. The worst part, though, is that Johnny Depp ended up getting fired from the Harry Potter spin-offs, and his reputation has taken a hit. I personally don't feel like his reputation has taken his hit in the public. Maybe at first, but now people are really seeing it for what it is. And now that as the evidence accumulates, as more things are coming out, people are really truly starting to see what's going on here. Especially the voice recordings. Like, the voice recordings is what got me Tell the world, Johnny, tell them that I, Johnny Depp, am a victim of DVT. No one will believe you. Like, I've heard that line before, very similar when I was in a DV relationship. Oh, no one's going to believe you. Do you know what I mean? And it breaks you. When you go, thankfully, he found strength after that. But me personally, when I was in that situation, that was one of the things that got to me. And the one where in the Vice Guardian where she's talking about, I didn't hit you, I didn't punch you, I hit you. I don't know what the motion of my hand was. Girl, really? So anyway, people thought Amber Heard would face some repercussions too, but so far that hasn't been the case. She's been in the media saying all kinds of stuff too, referring to the idea of her getting fired as delusional. Some people feel so strongly about this that they're willing to skip Aquaman 2 to show Warner Bros. That they're serious. They don't want anything to do with the film if it's going to include her. The problem is that we don't know how far these fans will go. Let me just go ahead and keep. Yeah, it's a common theme. I'm thinking that you're regarding like. I don't know if you're regarding like the like abusers using them terms and using that to try and bring their victims down, you know, so that they lose that sense of self-esteem, or if you mean regarding people both ways, though I get it, regarding people taking Amber Heard's side in all of this. So Carly says, we know there are at least 10.8 million plus who won't see Aquaman 2. I'm certain there are lots more, so yeah, we're serious about not seeing it. Exactly. Of course we're serious about not seeing it. And the thing is that them to ask, that they're even questioning us. But you know what? I'm quite intrigued by this article because it's like they're starting to see that now. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe a little bit here and there, but it's like they're finally starting to see that these fans, like, they have voices, or these supporters, they have voices, and they're gonna be heard. Like, they're not just joking about this. Yes, obviously there is gonna be people who see Aquaman 2 who don't know about this case, who are like dead ass DC fans who don't care much about this, but there's a hell of a lot of people who do know about this case who ain't going to be seeing it. Evan Cooper says, yeah, I'm skipping the fish movies. It's such a shame that for Jason Momoa anyway, that Turd is keeping a role, because I know originally when I first watched Aquaman, when I didn't know what was going on with this case, back whenever it was that it came out, I watched it because I wanted to see Jason Momoa. Like, I wanted a bit of eye candy, you know. But that was it. I didn't. On her, I first thought, who's this? Like, who is this actress? Like, she's not really killing it for this film. She's, yeah. Veronique says, we'll not be watching either. Like, yeah, I agree with you there. Sean B says, I hope that Johnny has major evidence against Amber in the Virginia trial that will end her acting career. I don't, like Bobby Wills has said a few times, I don't know if Johnny's bothered about Amber Heard losing her career. Like, even with everything that she did, I think she should lose her career personally. But I mean, him as a person, I think he just wants to clear his name. Like, when everything was going down, he wanted her to still have her home. Oh, there's Zod. I just noticed. Hi, Zod. How are you, love?
Oh, I'm doing good. You know, I'm doing the responsible thing, and I'm working while I'm doing this. So
Well, that don't change much. You're always working and streaming. You caught me mid-rant. I'm not normally a ranter, but I'm just ranting away with my little self right now about this because
I'm glad I can inspire so many people to rant. It's great.
Yes, you have. You like been passing on the villainous ranting vibes. But I've just been reading this article. Will fans really boycott the film Aquaman 2? And basically it's hey Jackie, I sent you a link, girl. Basically it's like I'm umming and ahhing, right? Because on one side it's like a positive that they're actually starting to see them hashtags. They're actually even putting it in this mainstream media article talking about hashtag Amber Heard is an abuser. Like they've put that in this article, and it's through me a little bit. But the tide seemed to be changing a little bit anyway. What do you think, Zod? Oh, as my thing froze.
I think that it's an interesting thing, and I read an article on my channel. I believe it was last Friday, where I talked about how the media outlets seem to be covering it. Like the media seems to be very on the fence because they don't know how this trial is going to fall, and they don't want to look unfavorably, and even the studios are questioning it. But there's still a lot of media clearly trying to protect it. I've seen tons of articles like talking about how the fans are doing the fan thing, the normal bullshit things that they say. There's these crazy base and the true fans, which anyone who knows me, if you guys don't know me, my name's Mr. Zod. I'm a DC fan. Been a DC fan my whole life. Okay, I go to reading the comic books, and I can tell you from multiple people within my community, they don't like her, and this isn't just like her personal thing, but most people don't even find her character really exciting. So it baffles my mind. Because look, I just got done seeing The Suicide Squad, which was amazing, and I would encourage everybody to go and watch that, because if a lot of people see it, maybe they'll start making more movies like it. But it was amazing. James Gunn is a god amongst men, and God bless his soul for redeeming that franchise, because he has literally saved that franchise. But it's like DC has this problem where they double down on the wrong things and they try to change things that they shouldn't change. And I honestly think if they removed her, it wouldn't hurt the franchise. You don't have a fantastic. It's not like Fantastic Beasts, right? Johnny Depp was the main draw for that movie, so removing him was a fucking stupid idea and was always going to create a problem. He's the central villain, but who's Mira? You could put Mira. You could put a red wig on anybody to play that role. Literally, no one can tell me why Amber Heard is so captivating that the studio needs to go. Like, if it was Scarlett Johansson or like a big actress, right? Somebody who you'd be like, oh, that person is the character. Or, Wanda. I can't picture anybody else playing Wanda, right?
No, Wanda is Wanda.
Elizabeth Olsen is sweet. She's a nice person. She is Wanda. She plays that role great. But who the hell is Mira? Like, really? Did anybody? And I know there's some ladies in there in this chat. Did any of you watch it for Mira? No, you watched it for Jason Momoa. Heck, I know my own girl. She saw Jason Momoa in the new Dune trailer, and she was like, "Oh, I got to go see that." I go, "You don't even know what Dune's about."
Yeah, but Jason Momoa is like, I'm not a DC fan, but I only watched Aquaman for Jason Momoa originally when I watched it. I don't care. I'll just say how it is. But when I watched that film, I wasn't excited about Mira as a character, like, because obviously it doesn't even tell her story. And anyone could play her, like you said. And the fact that now, like, I don't know if you've this last week, sorry, you type in Johnny Depp's name in Google or whatever server you use, it is the mainstream media. Some of it seems, unless I'm like, I don't want to jinx anything, but it seems that the tides might be changing a little bit, because a lot of the articles are named Johnny Depp's win in the case and all that. And previously, it wasn't about, people weren't focusing on Johnny Depp in this case, or they was putting him down. Do you know what I mean? Like, rather than giving him any positive media. I think the only positive outlets that I've seen was from Sausage Roll, Pop Culture, not Pop Culture, what are they called now? Pop Topic, and the Daily Mail, and that's it. Literally, that's all I've seen. But now.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I just had this train of thought because you said media and changing. If you had noticed, Keeley, from us doing this, right, and numerous articles we covered, these guys, and I know you keep it clean here on the channel, so I'll censor myself. They are bandwagon media journalists now, and when they feel like the tide is shifting, and look, when did this start? If you guys don't know, I have a great video on entertainment and their take on the whole thing, right? Really, the shift in the media started when the tapes and more video evidence started coming out. Because you can bullshit, he said, she said. You can twist words anyway. But when there's evidence out there that's audio and video, and I've said it before, I don't get how they could defend her. She's on tape. That's her voice. There's not even a doubt. There's no one who hears that and will go, oh, well, it could be doctored. The government can't even make good doctor tapes. So don't give me that crap or that it's taken out of context. Specifically, her words are vile and the way she words stuff, and that can't be fixed. And then the body cam footage came out, and you really noticed a shift because the body cam footage is very damning. It's like that's immediately after. That's police officer footage. You can't go and say, well, this is after. They've got it logged. They got timestamps now. I mean,
exactly.
It's I think it's a feeling like journalists are going, oh shit, if he could win this, and if he wins this, wherever we landed, if he gets back on top, and he's because Hollywood's going to want to fix it, of course, because they're not going to want to look at the state of Hollywood right now. They're not going to want to take any more hits than they already have. So you'll see him make appearances again and stuff like that. And nobody's going to want to be on that side of the coin. Nobody's going to want to be that guy. And if I was Johnny, I would give them all the finger. I would be like, you pricks all sat here for what, years now and bashed me. And it was the same thing. Look what happened with Angelina and Brad. That's a great example. If you guys don't know, like, Angelina made claims that just weren't true and made the kids lie that Brad hit her, and it came out. There were a lot of things retracted. That's why you haven't seen her in films. Nobody wanted to touch her because she got caught in a lie, and Brad Pitt bounced right back after that. And I think that Johnny could make a recovery, if these things keep on coming out.
I think he could really make a recovery. Like, there's been a lot of even positive stuff about this past week. I've seen more stuff circling around Minamata, and he was literally burying that not that long ago. But obviously, Johnny Depp just had the win regarding the ACLU that he's been given 23 out of 24, where he can get the discovery for information. I forget the proper terminology for it. And like, this is going to uncover some shit. I think it's going to uncover some proper, like, chaotic stuff that's been going on. More than just regarding this. I think it could potentially uncover some other moles within Hollywood that are connected illegally to the ACLU and using it for gain for their own power. You know, like a charity. Like, who does that? Who says I'm gonna freaking donate to a children's hospital? Or I donated to a children's hospital and they never did.
I think the biggest thing that I like about this is the fact that I've been saying for years these guys are pieces of shit. Like, everybody's asked me on my channel, well, why do you rant about Hollywood and stuff like that? It's because you have this thing in film where every movie, every show that's coming out seems to be preaching about how we're just genuinely horrible people, and we need diversity and inclusion and all this other BS that apparently never existed before this new wave of 2015, right? And now these are the same people who will tell you that they're so inclusive and diverse, and they'll steal money from children. This is Hollywood. And after the Me Too happened and the Harvey Weinstein thing happened, they had to revamp their image, but they never got rid of these people. They used a lot of the bigger ones as targets to break our focus, and these little guys were always here. So you had the Elons, the what's his name, Benzo, and all of them. You had them who were using other lesser rich people as human shields. That's what I believe, and I think that now you're going to see the real dirt, or maybe they'll cover it up. It's curious to me that now he can get it. I mean, the bigger question is, will there be anything to find? Because they've had those documents for so long. Who knows if they've altered stuff or scrubbed out names? I mean, that's a possibility.
Well, they found that them emails, didn't they, where there was the conversation between her and the ACLU, where there was this discussing the op-ed and what to put in it. But these documents are going to reveal, like Nikki Harrison said here, everyone that has donated on her behalf or talked to the ACLU on her behalf. So this could obviously bring Musk into it more now.
I've thought a lot about this, and I think he'll be insulated. And I know, I'm sorry if I disappoint some people in the chat. Don't throw stones at me yet, but Elon is a shark. Let's be real. And he's not a stupid man as much as people like to think so. He's a very smart man. He went to the moon. He's a smart guy. I think he has a team of lawyers who have insulated him. But, and mark my words, folks, I'm willing to place any amount of money on this. I believe you'll see a scenario. I don't know when it will happen, but she's already started to fade a little bit because she's not selling anything. But I really think you're going to see a scenario where the people who protect her are going to throw her over the bus, because she made a deal with these devils. And at the end of the day, these people don't give a crap about an Amber Heard. There'll be a million of her. They care about themselves. And if it's going to come down to them being outed or them cutting ties and just shifting the blame on her, I'll put money on you'll come across something where they're going to shift it all on her. And to be fair, let's not say she's not deserving. I think she deserves everything that's coming to her. God, I can't wait. If there was ever a vile person who deserves what they get coming to them, it's her. But at the same time, this is a problem because I think you're going to see them use her as a shield. I think they're going to set her up to take a majority of the fall, and they might give up some little people like a poor desk clerk or something else like that. But I think she's going to wind up taking the biggest hit on this, because you think they're going to give up someone like Elon or something like that? No, he'll put anybody in his way. So he's not going to be a shield for her. I think you're going to see people throw her under the bus. I really do. And you know what? Good. She made her bed. No pun intended. And now she can lie in it.
She made her
shitty. She made that shitty bed. And she deserves everything coming to her.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's really funny that we're talking about that, because one of her lawyers came out and said that the op-ed was about Johnny Depp, like not too long ago. And obviously there's different conspiracies around that, whether obviously what's the motive around that. But this case in Virginia, it's not whether the op-ed was about Johnny Depp, it was whether it's defamation, isn't it? So it defamed him. You know, and if it was that, so I think that it could be a case of, I don't know what the tactics are there. Is it that the lawyer shouldn't have said that, or is it a case of that they're changing tactics to, well, it wasn't the op-ed that defamed him, it was his apparent drink and drug use in parts of the Caribbean that got him kicked off there. Because, you know, like, this is the whole point of this. I hope I'm making sense to you, Zad. I feel like I'm mumbling, but you know, there's a lot of conspiracies around why they've done this, why they admitting now that they for so long they were trying to hide that the op-ed was even about Johnny Depp, and then his lawyer just comes out with, yeah, it is about him.
Here's the thing too that you have to remember, that most people, I don't know if you remember this, but I actually did research and talking with Rob and stuff, is the other end is she signed an agreement. She got a settlement. There's a legal bonding contract, like an MDA, where they both weren't supposed to publicly air their laundry. She broke that. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at a bigger thing. It's a breach of their marital contract. I mean, he could have honestly, if he wanted to, gone after her for so much more, because if you guys remember the original agreement, they settled out of court, and the settlement, because she's so noble, was going to charity, right? But that was for her, their marriage. So you have two things in play here. One, they slandered him with no legitimate proof that I've still yet to see. And two, they had an original court agreement through their marriage. So you also got to wonder, too, what they broke in that.
Yeah. Obviously, after she did the op-ed, he did the magazine as well, didn't he? Where he talked about what was going on a little bit within. But you're right, he could have gone for so much more. This article's now finished. Let me quickly finish reading it. It carries on to say, some people feel so strongly about this that they're willing to skip Aquaman 2 to show Warner Bros. That they're serious. They didn't want anything to do with the film if it's going to include her. The problem is that we don't know how far these fans will go. People have tried boycotts and stuff like that numerous times in the past. I'd say over 80% of the time, not enough people join in to make it successful. As if it wouldn't be difficult enough to stop people from seeing the film. Aquaman was a massive success. To my knowledge, it's the highest grossing DC film of all time. Obviously, you probably already knew that.
As far as I know, I have to think. Yeah, I'm going to say that it is. But here's the thing. You know, people forget the Scott Snyder or Zack Snyder verse, where Scott Snyder's the author of the good comic books. But anyways, the Zack Snyder verse, whether people like it or hate it, all of those movies, if you look at the box office, were in the $900 million to like 800 or so. Even Suicide Squad, why it's got a sequel, everybody asked me that. It's because the original Suicide Squad made $522 million. So these movies were always close to $1 billion. Aquaman, for some reason, just caught like wildfire. Jason Momoa, I would say, solely made that movie what it was. He was the draw. So, yeah, it did $1 billion. But here's the thing. Joker did $1 billion, too. So it's not specific. Or no, Joker was just shy of $1 billion. Joker's the highest R-rated movie of all time. But it did like 900 and, I don't know, 89 million. It was close to $1 billion. So the point being, it's just the character itself and how they did it was what made people like it. I don't believe that, to be honest, the box office is going to be affected by boycotting it. Now, I'm sorry, that might be an unpopular opinion, but DC did what Marvel did with this movie, and they made normal movie people like the film. So people who aren't like us, who aren't following it, they're going to maybe make a dent in it. But Marvel just released Suicide Squad. I got to tell you, I'm doing a story on it tonight.
Marvel.
DC just did the Suicide Squad just came out today. It's
Gonna say
already
then.
killing. It already killed Black Widow. It's at 90 million opening day. That's fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, I didn't mind the original Suicide Squad. I've not seen this one yet. And regarding Aquaman and the Joker, between the two, I preferred the Joker, like just because of the acting. What's he called? His name's gone out on the head now. Wow, why is his name going on me? What's he called? Joaquin Phoenix. There we go. His level, his acting in that was just immense. Like his level of acting. And I'm sorry, guys. I've been getting I get glitchy sometimes, and I don't know how to fix it. It's been doing it on and off on this computer for months. I'm so sorry. And the other sound in the background is my fridge. It's making a freaky sound right now, so I apologise. Nikki Harrison says, AH said on the phone with JD that she was told she'd had to claim all of this to stay in her penthouse, and even with her parents in tests, everyone knew and knows it's all lies. I remember that recording. It was when she was on one of the last ones, wasn't it? Like, when they was on the phone after the divorce had been filed, she said to Johnny that, like, this is why I had to do it, to keep the penthouse. And he said, well, you don't have to do it for that. You can keep your home. And she said, I've been told that I have to.
There is an interesting thing to consider. With news today, this is a good thing and a bad thing. Why a lot of movies are doing successful, it's going back to word of mouth. People are boosting movie sales when they're really liking something. No one's looking at critics anymore. Look at the ratings for critics or who they take serious. And to be honest, no one's really watching the news because people are starting to realize that they're full of shit. A lot of people, if you check the analytics, YouTube newscasters do better than NBC, MSNBC, all of these stations, Fox. Literally, YouTube is killing them right now as far as television goes. So even if the people run these stories, it's not reaching the general audience that it used to. So with us doing what we do, I mean, we are drawing in a lot of people, but I think it's going to take a lot more of these outlets, which I'm glad to see starting to actually report facts. I think if you get multiple outlets, then yeah, because even my mom, who, disclaimer, my mom has no clue what I do here. She does not understand the pop culture world at all. She doesn't like superheroes, all that stuff. And shout out, I love my mama, but I told you I can make this a job. Anyway, she's always laughing because she's like, you're never going to make money doing stuff about, nerd stuff. And I was like, ha, who's laughing? But anyway, the point is, my mom has no interest in this, right? And she heard about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. So at the same point, I could say also, too, that maybe you will see mainstream audiences see this if we get the right press. As much as I don't like MSNBC, Fox News, I can't stand it. All of them are crooked. But if you can swing that cloud, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, the box office is a wreck. That's why I tell people not to worry about this Aquaman 2. You had Tom and Jerry at number one. If you guys watch my review, it was the worst movie I've seen in a couple of years. You had that movie at number one. So the box office is in such a flux place right now. Aquaman doesn't have a stable box office. China is being closed off to America. And spoiler alert, they made 500 million overseas, and 200 million of that was in China. Now, if they don't lock down China again, who doesn't hear any of our news, you're not going to see those same numbers. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm a fan of DC, but I'm just going to call that one, it's a sequel, and it's very hard to bring people back into a sequel unless it's Marvel, because you guys made a deal with the devil over there. But unless it's Marvel, you are not going to get people riled up. The only reason why Suicide Squad was doing good was because of all the press that was getting before the lead up of the movie. But look at Aquaman 2. Look at the delays. Look at all of this press. Let me ask you guys something. Who's actually covering it like they did with like any of these other movies? Like, for instance, Black Widow's my best example, right? Look at the press for that movie. I literally could not go to a site. I got the Google alerts on. I could not go a day without hearing about how amazing this movie is going to be, right? You have Disney Plus, all of that. DC, unfortunately, does not know how the hell to market anything. And look at Aquaman 2. It's been delayed for how long? They just started shooting? I mean...
Wasn't it supposed to have been released originally, was it supposed to have been released this year or next year?
Yeah, it's supposed to be released this year. And not to mention, too, if they're trying to rush it because it's $1 billion, there's... I'm going to tell you something right now, folks. You're not going to... I would be shocked. I would be shocked if this movie even makes it close to $1 billion. If this movie even makes it close to its budget, I'll be surprised. Because it's been so long of a wait. People forgot about it. Their time to make another $1 billion on this was right after the original. They should have began production. You know what Marvel does, right? Even though they delayed their films, they had these things in production years ahead of time. And DC is so unorganized that they were like, oh my God, Aquaman did $1 billion. Quick, let's, pen a sequel. But no one ever thought to get this rolling. So now you have a situation where how many of the people actually remember the first movie? Yeah. I forgot most of the movie. So the excitement's not going to be there.
Yeah, it's a big... They've got a big, massive gap, haven't they, in between both the films, and there hasn't been that much positive stuff. Like, they've not put enough excitement around it. They're putting more excitement around, like look at, for example, like going back to Marvel, Spider-Man No Way Home. There's not even a trailer for that film yet. And the amount of excitement just for a trailer is immense. Compare that to Aquaman 2. Like, there's no excitement about this film I've seen anywhere, really. Like, and
I'm
I think that if
fan, and I don't give a shit, Keeley. I honestly, to be honest with you, that first movie disappointed me with a lot of things, and I was like, yeah, I'll see the sequel just to see where the story goes, because they had the end credit scene. But it was like, and this is where Marvel beats DC 99% of the time, is that DC does not know how to promote their stuff. So everybody who's here, you could rest assured knowing this is the most horribly promoted. I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to wait closer to the time, and they're going to try to flood the markets. But then that's going to be a stupid decision, because you've had no lead up. So now you're going to spend thousands of dollars. And folks, if you wonder why a movie flops, marketing is the cheapest marketing for a film. And I'm talking about an indie film, not a big studio film. The cheapest marketing is from 50 to 60 grand you have to add onto a film's budget just for marketing. So
yeah.
that's on top of delays and stuff like that. That means out of the gate, this thing within 2 weeks before the box office drops, and I'm guessing it's at 200 million, but it could be more because of the delays in the contracts. They reworked Amber Heard's contract, which, by the way, great job on that, Warner Bros. So they're paying her out more. The amount of money they sink into this, and I don't think they'll make that back. I don't see this thing even breaking 200 million, to be honest.
Probably won't. Nikki Harrison commented here, AH has absolutely no medical record showing treatment to anything that she's claimed. She doesn't, and that's one of the biggest things that proper pet peeve me. Like, I personally was escorted to the hospital with 5 police officers after an incident of DV. Yet she claims that she had glass under her skin with no medical records at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, it it baffles my brain. Like, how can you claim to have sustained all these injuries and not one medical note? Bearing in mind, she has a private nurse and a private doctor that was there at the end of the phone constantly and seen her on multiple occasions. Sorry. Okay. Hey, Carmen.
Hey, Carmen.
That's true. What? Greetings from Portugal. Hi from England. But that's true. That what Nikki was saying. That she has no medical records for anything. Johnny does.
There's a lot of things that weren't thought out, and I think that in the end, for my hopes, because we're now in the American courts, no offense to Britain, but your court system sucks and it's boring. I mean, and I feel for you guys, especially domestic violence victims, because I think it's set a really bad precedent. But here in the U.S., we do have a fucking court system at times, yes. But I think because of this evidence and the type of judge who seems to be pretty on the ball from everything I've heard. Oh, hey, Planet Q's Queen, good to see you. I think that you're going to see different things. And I think that these things you're talking about are going to be questioned, because any sensible judge or any sensible lawyer, and I hope Johnny's team is on top of this, from what I hear, they're very good, is that you're going to have people point out, like, where are your medical records? Yeah. And I mean, even if she went and got fake ones or paid off a doctor, you would think that would be a logical thing to do, because there's no, in my mind, and folks, stop me if I'm wrong, but in my mind, for AH, there is not a shred of evidence that I have seen for her at all. There's nothing. There's a lot for her, but there's not a lot that I've seen that she proves. What, a couple of scratches that don't even line up with the type of injuries.
Down around.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that the scratches that she had was down around. I was just pointing out. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. I mean, Keeley, here's the thing. Okay, you were there with me, Rob, and Gary when we were talking about, and we were saying that she made these outlandish claims, right? She was bounced off of a wall and stuff like this. So let's just take out the short-term effects for a second. And this is something I've never seen people touch. And the long term. You have supposedly been thrown around a house, right? That's what she said. It's slammed against the wall, tables, mirrors. And she has no signs of psychological trauma. No. What about a concussion? From how she describes it, He's
Sorry.
like the he's like the Incredible Hulk. So
yeah,
you're looking like you're doing pretty good, taking photos on the beach and things like that. I see nothing to even substantiate long-term effects. She can do a great cry when she has to, but I don't see anything like that most people suffer from this.
exactly. GIA, I don't know if it's GIA or GIA, she has no evidence except for the testimony of her friends, which will not carry a lot of weight.
No,
I know.
it won't.
And her doctored photos that are full of filters and are very obviously fake. Like, there's one of where you can literally see, like, blue eyeshadow, where she's put blue eyeshadow on her eye, and you can see it on her eyelashes. It's supposed to be on, like, her eyebrow, but you can see the blue eyeshadow that's fell onto her eyelashes from them applying it. Like, really? And the one where she's supposed to have had a bruise here under her eye, when she did her fake crying, the bruise moved because it looked like it had been run. It looked like the makeup had run. It really does. And even the likes of The Sun, as much as they supported her in this, they had to edit them pictures to make them more believable in the eye of the public. Otherwise, why would they have to edit them? Like, I don't know if you've seen that video or seen the pictures. I put it out a while ago, but literally these pictures where she's supposed to have bruises, they edited them so they look like gone from makeup to actually looking like a bruise.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but even with that evidence, it's so flimsy that go ahead and call them pictures up into court. Any good attorney can rip into those. I mean, look, I'm not a makeup expert here. My base knowledge is how long it takes my girl to do her makeup. But from how I've seen it, it looks a lot like foundation or something like that, or cover up or whatever. It looks like I'm a guy. Sorry, it takes me a minute. It looks painted on is the best way I could describe it. Like, when I seen the photos, I was like, this is your evidence? It looks like when my girl messes up and she smears, you know what I mean? She like tries to smear it off to start over.
Smudges.
Mini rant here. If you guys have ever been in that situation of waiting an hour and a half for the bathroom when you really have to go, you're sitting there wishing she gets it right the first time. It doesn't happen in real life. So it looks like to me when my girl smears her whatever to kind of redo it. So I was just sitting here going, like, this is your evidence? And, like, when you look at the paper ones, they look more legitimate. They look too clear. It's like anybody who does Photoshop, come on, we make thumbnails, okay? I could do that shit in a minute. I could put somebody's head on a celebrity and make you think it's the person. I mean, it's not fucking hard to do these days. So clearly the paper put that through some kind of filter because
they did.
I remember you guys showing the compare and contrast, and it was like night and day. It was. I mean, I'm not one of those people who can say you can, go, oh yeah, everything's doctored, everybody. But I mean, come on, it's too shiny, too precise. It's like they maybe not changed the picture, but they just brought out the best features, you know?
They did, though. I'll try and get it up in a second because obviously, as we're talking about it, might make me glitch, maybe, I don't know. But the Planet Q Queen basically saying the same thing I did. She had blue eyeshadow in one of her hairline pictures.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember seeing that picture, and I'm like, come on, it's purposefully look. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm a guy. I know there's ladies in the chat here, and there's you. So I mean, I'm not the makeup professional per se, but from what I've seen, it looks intentionally trying to put on your makeup bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's funny because when I watch my girl do it, she's very precise. Like, I can't talk to her because she'd be like, my makeup, that kind of deal. So it just looks like someone trying to intentionally do their makeup bad to put on a show. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense, but you know what I'm saying? It looks very intentional.
I know what you mean. Let me see if I can share this without it glitching there. Hopefully I'll be able to do it quickly. Is it copy it now?
Yeah, I could see that. Oh, who's reporting this?
Okay, so this is a pop topic. This is a the picture that she provided the court was what the Sun put in their newspaper.
Oh yeah, the
like
one.
A bit of a difference there.
Yeah, the one on the left looks way better than the one on the right. Like, clearly they put it through something, like I was saying. Because look at the color grading and everything. The one on the right looks like she took that, and then the one on the left looks like they put it through a bunch of filters and made it clear.
It's on the left hand side. Around you, but this is what this is the same photo the Sun put in their newspaper. They're to make like worse in the fake one she provided anyway, and then it's on here. I don't know if it's going to be on here or not. That was Johnny Depp's actual in scratching his nose. This is the one makeup running face. Like this picture, she took a few of them. It started off as a brown line, but like when after a few photos, the brownness here starts running down. Like this is supposed to be a bruise here, and how does a bruise run? Like that's a tear.
Yeah, that looks like. Yeah, that looks like that second one looks considered like even the way. Okay, so if you guys don't know, I was a hospital corpsman in the service, so I dealt with a lot of cuts and bruises and other things that I would, let's just say I've seen a lot, and even the bruising supposedly, and I'm doing air quotes here. It doesn't look like getting hit with something by the corner as she described. It looks like a punch to the eye. And like even that is spotty because if you hit somebody in the eye, there's multiple points of impact, they call it. So there would be stuff on the outer edge of where her eye is, but she would also have marks on the sides. And she would have
swelling.
What's that?
She'd have swelling, like the eye. She'd also have swelling. The eye is such a sensitive area. That sorry, I don't know if I was just saying the eye is
you're cutting in and out.
It's when I share my screen, it does it every time. I was just saying when you get hit in the eye, it swells up because it's such a sensitive area that your body wants to protect. I've been hit in the eye in a DV relationship, and my eye was swollen for near enough a week, and the bruising didn't go for weeks on end. Now, she said that she got hit in the eye, and the mark went in like a few days.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
other
sorry.
thing too. I mean, look, to play devil's advocate, you can get hit supposedly if it's a phone, right? It could be a lesser thing, but like then the pictures contradict that because they're trying to make it look like it's that whole side of her eye. The only problem with that is, like you said, if that much of your eye is blackening, right? Because that's what that's supposed to be, then you would, like you said, have some swelling, especially if you didn't get ice on it right away. And even then, everybody reacts differently. So you could still put ice on and have you to at least have a massive mark. You would see from how she described it, right? It would be the equivalent of, because when you get a bruised eye or anything like that, any kind of bruise, it's broken capillaries that are ruptured. That's what a bruise is. That's what that black is that comes from. So fun facts, you're welcome. Free fact of the day. So you're breaking capillaries, and it creates the bruising and the swelling, and also nerves and things like that. So that's what causes you to bruise and swell up. But it doesn't go away in like a day because your body has to heal. And I don't care if you're fucking Captain America, you're not going to heal that quickly. I mean, it's not possible. So let's keep in mind too, Kaylee, that we all covered, she literally did a photo shoot after this and there was nothing. So
Yeah.
either she's Wolverine or she's full of shit.
Well, we know she's full of shit. Fucking leaked out on the bed and everything, that one. But you're right, so everything you're saying. And playing Q Queen, this is like an important fact as well. Johnny is right-handed. She would have gotten the bruise on the left eye, not the right eye.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I totally agree. Unless he punched in a very odd fashion, that would definitely not do anything. Even if he, okay, so Planet Q's Queen brings up a good point that I want to touch on for a second. Even if he threw his phone, right, which is the claim, that's what this bruise was from, right? He threw a phone at her, and the luckiest throw. And I don't even want to get into how fucking hard it is when you throw your phone, because I've thrown plenty of phones to hit somebody in fucking with the nick of the corner. But whatever. Saying that bullshit was true, right? If he threw with his right hand, because I'm going to assume he's right-handed, right? It's not going to hit that side of her face because it's going to go to the most dominant side. So even that doesn't make, like, nothing she says ever makes logical human sense to laws of physics, biology. Like, nothing. No person hearing this is going to say, "Oh yeah, that happened to me the other day." That's just not how it works.
It don't make sense at all.
I'm sorry.
Linda says, I got punched in the eye by a small child and I was swollen for days and had a bloodshot eye. I can't for a second. She was punched by a full-grown man and there was no swelling at all. Also, as well, bear in mind, Johnny Depp wears a handful of rings.
Yeah. And come on, guys. Now, look, this isn't a knock on Johnny Depp. I love Johnny Depp. But can we all be honest here? Does that man scream like somebody who could pick someone up and throw them around? I mean, can we just be real for a second? Has no one logically brought this up? Now, look, I'm a smaller guy, and I work out or whatever. And if I get mad, I could hold my own with others. But and you know, just his framing alone and the way she describes it. I'm sorry, I can't picture that in my mind. Maybe I can't picture him because she doesn't frame it like he swung on her. That's more plausible. She frames it like he's throwing her, right? He grabbed her hair, whipped her around a couple of times, and
sorry, whipped her.
yeah,
Oh
that's how
my.
I feel about it, though, Keely. And she also claims that he was also drinking and high. So if anyone's ever drank and or maybe did some greenery here and there, right? You're not in the mood to do that shit. Are you kidding me? No. I don't know about you, but when I drink, I don't get this urge. Now, I do know you have violent drinkers, but they were also doing drugs too. If you've ever mixed the two, they're one's an upper, one's a downer. So you're going to be completely just mellowed out. She's even showed him on a plane passed out. So he strikes me as the kind of guy who drinks and mellows out. Like, he just wants to chill. So this guy who goes to a chilled state just one day, all of a sudden becomes Bruce Banner and just starts throwing you all around the house. I don't buy it. It's shit. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's had the super soldier serum.
Yeah. Clearly, he's a superhero. They just need to have him in the MCU. He's he's clearly not human. It makes no sense. And the funniest thing is, she has documented him being completely relaxed. That's another thing that no one's pointed out. Now, look, Johnny Depp has even stated, and I don't know whether he's been clean or not now or whatever else, okay? And I do believe dealing with that bitch, he probably did slip into some habits. And you know what? I don't blame him if he did, because he's dealing with that wacky bitch. But here's the thing. If you took photographs of him supposedly being drunk on a plane, and the man can't even lift up his ice cream, like he falls asleep with ice cream, just dripping down or whatever else, right? And then later, you're trying to sell me that this is the same rage-induced monster who did all these things. She contradicts her own story every time. She paints one picture, but she can't have it both ways. Either he's this drug addict and drinker who can't function, or he's this violent narcissistic man who, when he does these things, loses control. But you can't have it both ways.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
I know. Linda says the phone would only be able to make a big mark like that if it was close and actually held the phone and hit her in the face with it. And that's the only way I can imagine a phone can make that mark. What if you hit somebody in the only if you hit him there, but even then it's not gonna. The mark is like that, so it's like the phone's hit her here, but you have a gap here unless she has a flat nose, which she doesn't. The phone isn't gonna bend round her eye, which she was trying to make a point of on that with that red mark there, which doesn't make sense at all. And unless it was a bleeding weird-shaped phone that had a curvature dinted in the phone that allowed it to bend around your face, which I don't think that they do, though, so I don't know. Hey, Laura. I don't think they do.
Keely, none of what she says tracks with science. Like, I've given up trying to, and I've tried several times talking with PB and everybody, try to put some science onto it. Like, okay, if you throw it like this, what would happen? Yada yada yada, right? Just to try to play out the scenario. And me and PB were talking about this before. The way she frames things, even when you listen to their two stories, right? Let's just go to what a jury would believe, and you just listen to the way she recounts it, and then how Johnny recounts it, and which one, okay, and this is a little mental test for everybody in the comments here. when you're listening to these two stories, which I'm sure we've all heard a bunch of times now covering this, right? Which one to you makes more sense? And I'm not talking about just because you don't like Amber Heard. I'm talking about from just stepping back and being an everyday Joe who will hear this, right? And which one to you is going to make more sense that you can put together in your mind? And what is a trial? It's hey, Rob Rules. Yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
Uh,
Rules.
Let me just ask you this: if you were on that jury, and Kelly, I'm just gonna say you don't cover this, right? You're just a person there who knows nothing about these two, and you hear her story and how she puts the events together versus how he just frames everything. And remember, a trial doesn't always necessarily come all down to evidence, too. It's how you frame things to the jury and to the judge. If they can put together the scenario for it to make sense. And I'm sorry, every time I hear this, one side sounds way more sensible than the other. One side sounds logical that I can paint the picture in my mind, where the other side, I'm just like, well, how did you get from here to here? And, you're over here 1 minute and then you're over here to the next. And then you go from one room and then in a drunken, uh, drug-induced rage, this man apparently has the strength to kick down a door. Like, none of it makes sense. None of it can be tracked in your mind. And you've got to convince people or a judge and draw a scenario. And I think that's a big problem, too. She's going to have a really big problem. She better hope to God that she can stop it, because nobody who's a logical thinker is going to hear her story and even be able to put themselves in it, because it doesn't make sense. It's too random. There's no order. Like Johnny Depp tracks right from when he gets down to when he gets to the bar, to what he says, to the angle, to how it hit him. He even says the thing with what he did with his blood. Even if it paints him negatively, he tracks everything so perfectly that when I listen to what he says, I can get a good mental picture in my mind of everything step by step. Now, I listen to her story, and halfway through, I have to backtrack and try to figure out exactly where he is in relation to her. It doesn't make
It doesn't, like, his account, like, the one that he did, where you see the recording of him explaining the distance of where the bottle was flung. Like, somebody was mentioning a bit ago, like, about how Johnny Depp severed his own finger. I think it was there's a comment John. Yeah, Carmen was asking about it. He said how he severed his own finger. Obviously, he said in the hospital at first that he trapped it in a door. I think that's what he said anyway. But then in her account, she's trying to say that he did it with a plastic phone. Like, how do you sever a finger with a plastic? Like, he explains it. He says, like, he explains the distance, like it's from about here to there, and she threw it, and I had my hand resting on the counter, and it hit the edge of my finger, and he explains exactly how he lost it. Like, when she gives an account of anything, she's always like this, and like, even if a face can't even stay straight while she's trying to give these accounts of what was going on, and the jury is gonna find a hard time believing her and believing what she's trying to say, because her story changes constantly.
Well, that's what, and that's the thing. That's why I say it's 100% accurate to say she's a liar. Because look, Johnny, the way he recalls events in my mind is somebody who can't lie. Because remember now, okay, let's give her the benefit and say he's pissed drunk, right? And he even admits to drinking. I could even agree that he didn't drink that much, because you guys, I don't know if you went to my stream, okay? When I even drank as much as I did, right? I had a hard time recalling some of the things in the night. But yet Johnny Depp gives measurements to approximately how much. So I would even be able to argue for him, if I was an attorney, that he wasn't drunk. Because how do you recall stuff that accurate in your mind? No one else was there, so you only got the two of them. I would more say she was doing shit as opposed to him, because her thoughts are much more scattered than his. And people, this is the thing about lying, right? When you tell a lie, unless you're a damn good liar or rehearse the lie, which is what they try to get to do for some of these scumbags, right? It's like a script. But when you're asked questions off script and you don't have that prepared response, you can't account for things people are going to ask you, right? Because you're on a script. And it feels very much like when you dig into what she's got scripted, she can't account for any inconsistencies because it's a lie. And unlike Johnny, for me, he's more truthful because of the fact that I feel no matter how you ask him, and he's been in doing several interviews, he stated this several times, his story has never changed. And if you're lying, you can't keep that straight. So I think even from looking at it from a standpoint of who's lying or not, her answers are all over the place because she can't remember what lie to go with. It's hard. You can't recount everything if you're lying because it never happened.
Exactly, your storytelling. Hey, Phantasmagorical as well. And hi, Susan Rodenhaver and Laura B. And Equals Nice who have all popped in today. And then I forgot. But, like you're saying, Dad, she isn't going to remember her story because it's BS. And like she's recounted this story to probably many people now, and she probably thinks because I'm an actor I'll be able to get away with it. But the court are going to be able to easily see through the acting. Like she can't even hold the right emotions. Like, oh, let me mute you a second, Fanta. Just unmute yourself. Oh, it's a snake. Oh, you're lucky Gary ain't here because he would have been shitting himself.
I'm a huge Slytherin fan, so.
I was trying to show you. Here, look.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
It's a green tree python. It's going to turn green, emerald green.
That is beautiful.
It's so cute. Cute little
I
note.
tried to get a snake, but the lady shot it down. She said, there is no way in hell we're getting snakes and spiders. And I was like, but you want birds? And she goes, exactly. How are you going to get a snake and we're going to have a bird? So guess who won that? As usual.
We have snakes and spiders.
Evan says, pretty green baby. Spiders. Nope, I can't cope with them. Like, as much as people try and tell me they're cute, but snakes. I used to be terrified of snakes until when I was little. Well, I wasn't little, so when I was a teenager, my little brother brought a corn snake home, and I held one for the first time. After that, I fell in love with him. And I keep showing Gary the pictures of like snakes with little hats on. He's like, "No, they're not cute. Stop trying to make me think they're cute because it's just not working now."
Total sidebar, but this does remind me of a movie I will shamelessly shill. Go see The Suicide Squad. There's a great thing with rats in it, and I can guarantee you they will, even if you don't like rats, this rat that they have in there is so adorable. Like, it waves at people and tries to give it, it's the cutest thing. And look, I grew up in New York. I hate rats inherently. I've seen my fair share, but this thing was so cute. I wanted to give the little guy a hug. He was just so freaking adorable. I know it's like CGI or whatever, but yeah, if you guys haven't gone to see it, and shameless plug, by the way, but I'll be doing a full spoiler review on that probably Saturday or maybe Sunday. I did traumatize Bitchy because of some stuff that happens to some birds in the movie. I don't think real birds were hurt. during the filming, but a lot of CGI birds got it. I really think James Gunn doesn't like birds because the shit that happens in this movie, I was like, oh my God, like, and she's sitting there crying for 10 minutes. I'm like, honey, there's CGI. She goes, why did you take me as? I'm like, there's CGI. That's not even real. That was probably like $20,000 right there. They can't kill real animals in films. It's not allowed. But
illegal.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I like birds. I like birds, but rodents, rats, mice, I can't do at all. And I was fine with like mice and that until like I got a cat. And in my old house, they used to bring me mice as a present. Well, this apparently it's supposed to be a present, but someone told me it's because cats think that we're like a bigger version of a cat, and they think that we're dumb and we don't know how to hunt. So they try to learn you how to hunt by bringing you presents like mice and stuff. Like this is what you're supposed to catch for me to eat. But that was just like, nope. Like my cat brought one alive and like go in my house.
I've had them bring them and put them in my bed.
I mean, I'm sorry. I know you guys are cat people, but I still stand by the cats are asshole things. I will die on that hill. I mean, look at that. They bring you mice back. It's like, okay, look. Dogs, they bring you a slipper or whatever. They chew it up. My dog has gone through so many slippers. But, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I just feel like cats are constantly plotting your downfall. Except for that one. I'm not going to lie, Keeley. You do have a cute cat. I don't like black cats particularly, but that is an adorable cat. I mean, you're not going to win me over with how cute and cuddly he is. Or I'm
you just had a kiss.
Oh. Now everybody's going to be like, oh, Zod's an asshole. Look at how cute this cat is. But I'm telling you, they're plotting your downfall. I seen the episode of Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. They're going to take over the world. And we're just sitting here giving them love and stuff. And it's going to happen. And everyone's going to be like, oh, Zod was right. Cats are evil.
Yeah, but you should cuddle one to get on their good side.
Yeah. And then it'll protect you when the cats, like, start planning the human downfall. Like, cats used to be worshipped as gods, and they haven't forgot that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but to be fair, those guys used to sacrifice people too, so I don't know if I could take their information at face value. I'm just saying. Man's best friend has been, and don't get me wrong, there's wild dogs and things like that. You probably don't want to pet them, but I'm just saying, I'll stick with a Siberian Husky.
Don't get me wrong, I love dogs as well. I grew up with dogs. The one, my dog from my childhood, she was so cute. I'm sure, like, when I was a kid, I don't know if it's like imagination or what, but I was so sure that she could understand me. Like, she used to have a little kennel outside, and when me and my brothers used to go and play outside, I used to just go and hide in there with it. Like, my dad was an arsehole, so I used to just go and hide when my brother was playing out in the little wooden kennel with the dog, and she was like, she used to protect me. She was really cute. Aww. She was such a sweet dog. Laura says, did you cut your hair, Zod?
I actually brushed it, and I slicked it back and put my hat on, but I am going to be cutting my hair off. I'll do the big reveal probably on Saturday. I'm going to completely cut my hair off, so you guys will all be able to let me know what you think of the style. I'm tired of it. I look like I didn't get over the 80s. So I got the mullet going on right now. It is bad. My girl has a bunch of jokes. I can't do that. And it's like 80 degrees and muggy. I can't do it anymore. I'm just going to shave it all off. So I'll look like Breaking Zod. I'm going for the Walter White haircut. I just gotta shave that whole thing off. And maybe leave my beard. I don't know. We'll see how it all looks when I get done.
I can't imagine you with shaving hair.
That's what everyone says, but it's like at a point when it's 80 degrees and I got that much hair. Look, ladies, you know how I feel, right? That much hair in 80-degree weather.
Yeah. Look at
yeah. And I don't know how you do it. I have just like, hold on a second. Hold on. I got this going on right here, and this is too much. Like, I cut the sides and stuff, but I just, it's too much for me. I can't do it.
Oh.
I don't blame you.
I wasn't even a twinkle in my mother's eye in the 80s. I never got to experience that. Hey, it's on the same year that dial-up was invented.
Oh yeah, I lived through 90s AOL, people, and if you never lived through the in 3 hours of waiting to get online, you haven't lived. Those were the days. And then someone in your house picks up the phone and cuts your internet off. It's terrible. I think Keeley might have frozen.
Uh-oh.
I was frozen. You hear me now? I don't know what happened at all then. It was so weird.
Well, see, Planet Q's queen understands me. Says yep. If you've gone through the experience of dial-up, then you know all of these kids have it quickly. Like my daughter will sit there and get out her phone and be like, God, it's taken so long. And I go, I don't want to hear your shit, kid. Okay. Because let me tell you about the days when you had to sit there and not pick up a phone for like an hour and a half. And then you had everybody in the house yelling at you because if anyone picked up the phone and answered it, they would cut you right off and you'd be kicked off the internet. Now you can have like 5 devices running at once, all on the internet while talking on the phone and not have any issues. So all of these kids got it easy.
Apart from recently, the internet is like, loads of people have been having issues with their internet recently. And there's been loads of people saying like, could it be something to do with the trying to get us ready for 5G? So they're like going to be messing up everyone's internet. So they have to switch over to 5G or whatever it is.
I think 5G is a crock of shit because I just got my phone and it's 4G. So I feel like this is a big ploy for the companies because now what is everybody going to have to do? We're all going to have to get phones and switch over to the new network because they'll say, oh, yeah, we can convert your network. But you know it's not going to happen because it never does for the first rounds. So you're going to have to wind up getting a brand new phone that can connect to 5G. You're going to have to redo everything on the internet. Well, maybe not the boxes because those can adjust, but it sucks. I hate when every year I finally get a new phone and then they switch everything over because I always get my phone towards the end and I'm like, yeah, I just got the new, A20 or A21 Galaxy, badass. It does my thinking for me. And they're like, oh no, the new phones. Now they've got voice recognition, iris software where your eyeball can unlock it and it talks to you and gives you tips and reaffirms your life. I hate it. She was like, oh, Zod's ranting. I got an hour. But it's terrible. Oh yeah, Rob, I hear you. I could hear the dial up in my sleep. Yeah, Keeley is froze. Welcome to Zod and Phantoms. Fanta's I can't call it the Phantom Zone. That's trademarked by Zod. Discussion. There we go. So how are you doing, Fanta?
I'm doing all right. Is she back? Yay! She's back.
Hey, internet being an asshole.
we were about to do the Fanta Zone.
There we go.
Oh God, I need a signal after that. Wow, I can't believe it kicked me out like 3 times.
Yeah, you know, it's that conversion. It's converting to the 5G network.
Maybe it's just something over there in England because I was at Hens and she got kicked out, and I don't even know if she's back or not.
I know that.
Yeah,
Kicked out 2 or 3 times too. Also,
I know that Gary's had trouble with his internet a few times as well.
Where is he? Sleeping?
Well, he's in Florida.
I mean, is he sleeping?
Oh, he's asleep right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So that means I can send him a link later, and he'll just be waking up.
Yeah, he'll be awake in a bit.
Cool. I'll send you both a link if you want to come on over to my channel later. I'll be talking about things. I can't guarantee they'll all make sense, but it'll be funny.
Yeah, I'll probably be awake. I'm probably going to be awake all night.
Oh, me too. I woke up at 4 o'clock.
I never slept, so
this afternoon. So
I know the bigger question is going to be, and he'll probably watch this later, but whether or not PB will stay awake for the stream. So if anyone wants to lay money on that one,
no, I don't want to lose no money.
It should be. It should be a lot of fun. Oh God, that's so terrible. Why do people listen to me? Listen to that guy. God, that's off.
What? Pardon? What did you say?
Oh, I could hear myself. I was like, God, that's how I sound. Oh God. The torture I've subjected these poor people to.
And Tanya says I haven't seen PB in ages.
Yeah, come on over tonight. He'll be there. We're going to be doing the late night talks thing. So there'll be some shenanigans.
I invited him here, but he was still working.
Oh yeah, that's the story of our lives. Actually, it's kind of funny because we both, when we're working, work about the same time. He's actually luckier because he gets out a little bit earlier than I do, whereas I work all the way up till 11 o'clock, but I get in at 3. But it's still not a lot of time to set everything up. Like, I told myself I needed to set stuff up, but then, Suicide Squad came out today, and it was like, be responsible or go watch Suicide Squad. I guess, you guys know how that turned out. So,
so have you watched it?
Yeah. Twice now.
Oh, I can't wait to hear you. I actually like the first one. I know there's a few people who did shit on it a little bit. But I really enjoyed the first Suicide Squad years ago. Are they kept the same characters?
They got 1 or 2 of them. Like, they have Captain Boomerang, they have Rick Flag, they have Harley Quinn, of course, but that's about it. The rest is
the Joker. Like, I love the Joker in that. I know a lot of people said they didn't like the Joker in that, but I did. I liked the different side of it.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Joker. He's not even really mentioned in the movie, but they have a much better villain. Like, actually, a couple of them. And I gotta say, okay, I hate John Cena. Like, I think he's the most overrated actor, wrestler, anything of all time. I can't stand him. But I will say, after this movie, I can tolerate him. He was so good. He was one of my favorite characters in this new movie, and that takes a lot. Yeah, he was like there's a scene, and I'm not going to give too much away because I'm going to do a spoiler review on this probably Sunday, but there's a scene in it where he legitimately did such a good job that I cared about his character because he's just so funny and fun, and he's got like really good moments in it where you can't help but to really laugh at his jokes and what he says because it's so outlandish. And Idris Alba is great. The fucking shark. I'm going to tell you right now. A lot of people are going to see this and they're going to love the shark because James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy, right? And everybody loved Groot. Well, picture a Groot that killed people. I mean, he's like lovable, but he tears people in half in this movie. Like King Shark is a badass, but he's also adorable. And when you guys hear his backstory, you're gonna want to give him a hug because it's so touching. I was like, James Gunn made me care about a CGI shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone. He was just. It was just like, even my girl was like, I swear to God, if anything happens to the shark, I'm done. I'm walking out of this movie. She absolutely fucking loved his character. And I think that's the strength of this because it does create a lot of dynamics where James Gunn's such a good writer that he can take and make no mistake. Like, these guys are bad guys and they don't try to hide it. Like, they do bad shit, like horrendously graphically, like they acknowledge they're really bad, but he writes them so good that by the end of the movie you're just like really rooting for them because they like kind of have this weird friendship in between where you just can't help but to love all of the characters by the end of it. And you're like, God, I hope this one doesn't die, this one doesn't die. And I'm not going to say anything, but I will say when he said don't get attached to people, yeah, don't get attached to them because it's going to crush your soul. Like, there was legit a point in the movie where I had to turn my face from my girl because I'm like, and she's like, are you crying? I go, I'm not crying. They did a terrible job cleaning the theater, but he legitimately gets you to like tear up.
It's good. It's good to be in touch with your emotions.
Do you have to watch the first one to be able to watch this one?
No. If you go into this and you haven't seen the first one, it only helps because you'll understand like one or two parts between like Harley Quinn and somebody else, and you'll get that more, and it'll suck more when you get into the movie. I don't want to give too much away, but you'll understand a couple of the relationship. But for the most part, if you've never seen it, he does such a good job making this movie stand on its own that literally I'm just going to consider this the canon and pretend like the other one didn't happen because he did such an amazing job.
Is it Margot Robbie that played Harley Quinn in the first one?
Yeah, she's in this one too. And he even does her character. I'm not going to lie. Like, I watched Birds of Prey, and what they did with her in that movie was questionable at best. But they give her a scene like that, and James Gunn does it so much better. There's a particular scene where you get to see Harley Quinn by herself. And like well, I'm not spoiling anything because they show it the trailers where they go to rescue her and she's already got out. Well, they show you in the movie how she got out, and I'm just sitting there looking at my girl, and my girl's like all excited because Harley Quinn's her favorite, and she's a badass, and it shows you like how crazy she is because as things are happening, you get to see what she sees. And it's all fucked up. And she's like, and it's just like, look at it. And then, they get to the part with the trailer. And I was like, oh, like Harley Quinn, they made look like such a badass in this movie and crazy at the same time. He did a really good, in particular with her character. He does such a great job. And she's not in it for that long, but she adds like, she's kind of sweet at times, so you get those awe moments, but really the heart of the movie, like the main person who makes you care is the girl who controls the rats. She has the saddest backstory. I'm just going to call it. She has the saddest backstory I've ever seen for anyone ever. And that's the part where I almost cried, where you find out the full story and you get like, she's literally probably the only person in the whole entire team that doesn't deserve to be there. And she's so kind and nice. Like, these are guys who will literally eat someone. Like, the shark person eats people, and she's like with these killers, and she's so nice that she makes them start to like care because she's just such a nice person. And at the end of it, like, her and that little rat, you guys will know what I'm talking about, but that little rat, it's so goddamn cute.
Rats, I can never find a rat cute. I'm sorry. I'm happy that you have.
Go and see this, and then we'll talk about it, because I can guarantee that when you see that rat, you'll be like, okay, you were right, because it waves at people. There's like,
you think the rat sales are going to go up like they do with clownfish for Finding Nemo?
Oh my God, this little rat, like, it meets this person, and she's like, is that rat waving at me? And he goes, yeah. She goes, why? And he's like, I think it likes you. I was like, oh my God, it was so adorable. I was just like this guy's a master writer. Like, I'm sorry, despite everything he's done, personally, I gotta give it to him. Like, James Gunn, we need to hire him. After I saw this movie, I said, DC, if you don't give that man an absurd amount of money to make part 2 of this and to stay in Warner Bros., you're a bunch of idiots, because he took unlikable people and made this great movie. Like, if they don't employ him because his contract's up with Marvel, they are a bunch of idiots. Like, I don't want J.J. Abrams, okay? Fuck J.J. Abrams. He made the worst Star Wars ever. We don't need J.J. Abrams. We need, like, James Gunn, we need Matt Reeves, we need people who actually care about these characters, because you could see through this movie that he legitimately not only knew who they were, but he knew how to write the characters.
I personally, I like, I'll watch your review on this, but I personally, I probably won't go and see it just because of the whole thing with Aquaman.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you want, you could see it for free on HBO Max, which would really support the box. I'm going to go see it 2 or 3 times more in the theater, but like, I want to see it in IMAX because that's how it was originally shot. So I want to see the difference. But
I wouldn't mind watching it free somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give him. I don't want to give him the money.
And I think that, like, it is a movie where I don't blame a director who's coming into this because of what the studio is doing. He clearly cares, and he made a deal. DC was going to give him any heroes or villains that he wanted. If you guys don't know the story, how this came about, he could have picked any hero or villain. That's how desperate they were. So I don't think they're very confident in Aquaman 2, but they said, he wrote Guardians, and they're like, we will give you any product. And he chose the Suicide Squad. They were his favorite. And he does a fucking phenomenal job. And not only that, but he's also making a Peacekeeper show with John Cena on HBO Max, 8 episodes. So he's going to write and direct all of those episodes for the show. So I think he's going to switch. I mean, this is just my hope. I'm not saying that you're not, but I do think he's going to switch over to DC. And if he does, that'd be a huge win. Like, I think Disney might try to lock him into another contract because his contract is up after Guardians. He's done. So there won't be a Guardians 4, basically.
But yeah, all the Guardians of the Galaxy. Tanya's saying, hold on, the guy who's boasting about keeping Amber in Aquaman, is he also the one producing Suicide Squad?
No. This is a different person. James Wan is doing Aquaman. And look, I like James Wan. If you guys don't know, James Wan is contracted
not James Wan. There's another guy he put something out there. I can't remember if it was Twitter or what, or an interview, but basically saying, "Oh, it was always gonna be Amber, James Wan, and Jason Momoa."
Oh,
Peter
that was the
Safran.
producer. Yeah, I covered that article. That guy is a producer, and spoiler alert, we've been trying to get him out of DC for years. He's the guy who actually fucked up Batman versus Superman. He fucked up Justice League. Yeah, that's the guy. So, yeah, just rest assured, no one likes this guy. He's a dick, and he's the reason why half these movies fail. And I'm actually glad he's on Aquaman, because when it fails, I hope he's the first to get fired. He's a total tool. But no, he was a producer. And of course, he's going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, Amber's doing. Oh, speaking of Amber, sorry, I got an Amber alert.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah. We got our fairs going on, so this always happens. Yeah, it's a serious thing. So, around this time, we got a big fair coming up here, and for the next couple of days, there'll probably be a lot of Amber Alerts going out. So, not to damper the mood, but it's a crazy thing, and people watch your kids, please.
Yeah. I've seen this thing which is really good. Like when you go out somewhere on a day out with your children, especially young ones who don't really know all the information, to get like a wristband that you can write on with your number on and stuff, so that if they did get separated from you, that they can, if on the worst case scenario, if they get separated from you, that they can someone can get hold of you. And I think that's a really good idea, because it happens all the time. Like, but there's always that scary thought as well of someone not okay getting hold of your child. Like, it scares me so much when my kids run off every time I go out anywhere. Like, get here, hold hands, hold my hand now. Yeah. And they're too old to have them little braces on anymore. Like, they're too big. My youngest is 4 now, so no pushchairs or strollers or whatever you guys we call them prams over here. She's not in a pram no more for like 6 months now. And they just run sometimes.
What's that?
The little ones, I've got 3, and when I'm out, it's a nightmare trying getting them all to hold hands and stay together. Like on this Monday coming, we were supposed to have been going to the seaside, but the weather's bad, unfortunately. So instead, we're going to an aquarium and to an arcade and all that. And I'm panicking. Yeah, I'm so excited. But I'm panicking about them running off.
Yeah.
It's like mother's worst nightmare, that.
Yeah.
Though, you seem like you're pretty with it, and that you take care of your kids. I know I have had it tough because my daughter's 14 now, so she's in that phase where like holding my hand isn't cool, apparently, or even like really like she's to the point where like, Dad, I want to like feel independent, that kind of thing. But like I even tell her like, hey. I don't care, whether you're 14 or 18, when we go out, it just makes me feel better if you stay close to me, especially with like fairs and things like that. Because look, we have situations, and I know this from being in security, where I've had adults lost, it's adults that get lost. So, I mean, it is worst case scenario, but at the same time, I do think, especially as us as parents, it's a very scary thing going out to big public places with our kids, and we just got to be alert. And I got to be honest, some of the things that I see, it really agitates me, because it's like, I worked at the theater. I would literally watch parents go into movie theaters, right? Everybody sits down. I know, because I'd usher. So I would, usher them in and whatever else, make sure everything's good. Like 5 minutes later, I'd see their kids over by the soda machine messing around with the stuff, and I'm like, hey, where'd you come from? Like, what theater are you from? Like, you know what I mean? And it's not feasible all the time, especially when you have like 2 or 3 kids and you're trying to keep track of the most rambunctious one and stuff like that. When I was a kid, that was my brother. But at the same time, it's up to us to really have a good mindful eye. And Keeley, I don't think you have anything to worry about. You got your head on your shoulders. I think you're gonna be fine and you'll have a great time.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. Well, we will anyway, but it's just parent anxiety, isn't it? In case it's separate or the one runs off, or like all it takes is 2 seconds for you to like say with an aquarium looking at a fish, and one of them to dive off. Like, well, where did you go?
I remember. I'm glad my daughter is the age that she is, because like now I can leave the theater, go to the restroom, come back, and I don't want her to be leaving a movie when we're watching it because I got to use the restroom. But, I still do worry about it, like when we go to fairs and stuff like that, because she's at the age where she wants independence. But also, too, things still do happen to kids 14, 15, 16, 17, So you always keep that in the back of their mind. So I can totally relate to you, because it then becomes like, how much freedom do you give them? And, how much do you have to kind of pull it in to keep them safe? And Keeley, these are all normal questions. I mean, when you got a group of kids and you want them to have fun, you're going to think about that. But as long as you're vigilant and you keep an eye out, and you're going to be fine, and they're going to have a great time. So
I'm sure they will. This is true, though, what Tanya says. You see videos of men on motorbikes just driving past and snatching kids out of their mother's arms. It's really scary. Thanks for that extra anxiety, Tanya, as I'm talking about my anxiety of going on a date.
Let me tell you something. Had that happen, so half of the time, because I'm working, my daughter will be with my mom. And if you guys don't know my mom, I'm planning on having her as soon as she figures out how technology works. I'm planning on having her on my channel for an interview to talk about some stuff, because she's donated a kidney and stuff. So she's like a role model for me. But
that's amazing.
There's one.
Sorry, that really touched me. That Yuzad. Sorry for interrupting you. A lot of you might not know this, but I was born with one kidney not working at all, and one that was blocked. So I only have one kidney. Like the kidney I have left, I had surgery on it to unblock it. There's a high chance that one day I might need a kidney donation. And it's amazing people like your mom that literally save people's lives. Like, only a few years ago, my one kidney that I have, after I had my third child, my kidney function dropped to 60%. A non-person with 2 kidneys, that's kidney failure. But it wasn't kidney failure for me because I only had the one. And it's gone back up now. It's healthy. It's back at 100% now. But I just want to say again, that's just an amazing thing that your mum's done.
Oh, I mean, I thought so. She was on the news and stuff like that, and I want to interview her with the person she donated to, because he's a great guy, and he's helped our family out a lot. And Planet Keys Queen, I don't want to terrify her, but I'll keep that on the back burner because I am a villain. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine doing what she did, so I want to interview her. But I just know that when my daughter's with her, she's safe, because my mom is a 3rd-degree black belt in 2 different types of martial arts, and she's crazy. So
is she Harley Quinn in real life?
So yeah, she's the one who trained me. She trained me when I was when I was 10 years old, she started training me in martial arts and sparring. She would spar with me because it started because I used to get bullied a lot when I was a kid. You know, I was into comic books, video games, things like that. I was a little bit smaller than I am right now, and people would pick on me. So she would take me down to the auditorium. She literally beat the hell out of me. She's really fast. But it really helped me to, you know, mold into the person that I am today. And you know, and she's always used to say, if you could talk it out, try to. But if you got to do what you got to do, then, you know, you go to it. And that's why when she brought that up, I would never be worried about anybody trying to snatch up my daughter with her. Because if that happened, I would more be worried about the person who snatched my child than my my child. Because they are taking a trip to the hospital. She's very quick and very deadly person. So she could be kind, but you mess with the family, and you know, I think that's for all of us parents. Like, we all say, and Keeley's the calmest person I think I've ever met in my life. But if those instincts kick in and you go into mother bear mode,
yes.
I can.
Let me tell you a story. I'm not told. I've literally never had a fight in my life. But when I was pregnant with my third child, a crazy woman shouted. I was walking in the town centre, and this woman was walking past, and she said, "Ben, I was working at the time," and she went, "Another one up the duff to get benefits off the government." And I was with my mum, and my mum went, "She's worked all her life," because I literally have like worked since I was like 14. And she said something like to my mum, like, "I bet you scam benefits as well," or something proper fucking cheeky. So I went, I love my mum to bits, so I went, "Don't fucking talk to my mum like that." And this woman fucking ran at me. I was about like 28 weeks pregnant. I had a big bump. She ran at me, and she got in my face. And I don't know if it was adrenaline. I felt like a mother lioness protecting my young. Bearing in mind the pregnancy that I had before that with my son, I was violently attacked by my ex-partner. So something triggered in me when this woman ran at me, and she got in my face, and she went like this to go and punch me. I went, "Go on then, I fucking dare you, go on." She went to hit me, and I blocked her, and I punched her, and I never hit anyone in my life, ever. But that moment when she went to hit me, I hit because I hit one. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm stammering. I hit her because it frightened me. I thought that something was going to happen to me. But I only known how to do that block and punch because I was trained by my uncle. He was a 13th down black belt. I've never had a fight in my life, like I said, but my uncle used to train us in martial arts. And that it's like a treat, like you said, that mother bear instincts. They do kick in, especially with something like that. And I was just after, like, I was so shaken up by it. After it happened, like, somebody just pulled her way away from me straight away, and it's a good job they did, because I felt like someone had just clicked a snap in me. You know what I mean? Like, from everything I went through, and I couldn't hold that in. I couldn't like let. It was like my adrenaline was. It was like fight or flight mode. And I wasn't going to run away or flight. My adrenaline was telling me, protect myself. She went to hit me. She went to punch me in the face. But in mind, I was pregnant. Do you know what I mean? Crazy bitch. But
exactly.
See, I wish I had a lofty story like that. But the first time I defended myself, I technically didn't defend myself. There was a bully. I'm not going to say his name, but he used to beat me and my brother up every day after school. He would chase us, and he would beat me up outside of my own apartment building. Me and my brother, he would punch and kick us and stuff like that. And I started taking martial arts. And kids at home, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do or anything, but one day I have some pet peeves and a couple of how do you say, like, quirks, things like that. I hate people spitting on me, and I hate disgusting food or people throwing food at you, like mashed peas, because it looks
Yeah.
gross and it feels gross. Well, this little prick threw these peas and hit me in the back of the neck, and I ignored it the first 2 times. And then he got me with a splatter on my face. So I got up, I took the chocolate milk that was right next to him, and I poured it all over him. And he got up, and this kid was pretty tall. He was like a lacrosse player or something like that. So I took his tray and I hit him in the throat with it, and then I smacked him across the face with it. And needless to say, my mom was not happy. But then she found out it was the kid who was beating me up for months. And the funny part is, the school, they tried to expel me. And to be fair, I did hit someone in the throat with a tray and smack him in the face, so I probably deserved it. But they wanted to make this kid a hero, like he did nothing wrong. And it was like he had been ruthlessly torturing me and beating me and my younger brother up for months. And we told the school. We did what you're supposed to do. We went to the school principal. No one did anything because he was on the team, so they didn't want to suspend him. So he just got away with everything until finally he got caught cheating on a test and got expelled. But I don't know what happened to him after that, but he got progressively worse. But it was like, yeah, there comes a point where I've always been a believer that you should be able to stand up for yourself. You should not. There's a point of starting shit, and then yeah, says a lot about, yeah, if you attack, you're pregnant. Like, there's a point in life where you either you come to the road where people are going to step all over you and think it's okay, to where you're still you, but you let people know, like, hey, it is not okay to yell at me. It is not okay to stand in my face and degrade me and things like that. And
Yeah.
Keeley, remind me never to piss you off, because every time I see you, you're just so calm and relaxed.
That doesn't mean I am so calm, but I don't know if it was like it was like the built up everything from experience, like going through DV and that. And I just, when that woman went to attack me, it's like all I can explain is like going like a mother lioness mode protecting a child. Bearing in mind, like I said, the last time when I was in that DV relationship, my ex-partner violently attacked me when I was 22 weeks pregnant. So sorry, my stammer's starting, but my head just went. I only hit her the once, but she didn't fucking try and hit me again.
No, but see, I've always said, and if you guys didn't know, I used to be a martial arts instructor. So when I taught, I always believed, because people would ask me, oh, how can you teach people to violently react to a situation? And I used to be like, you shouldn't go after someone. I don't believe you should openly look for attack. And it's kind of contradictory, because I used to be young and rebellious, and, I had my times. I was an asshole. I'll admit that. But, I believe with all of my heart that, yeah, you shouldn't start violence, but you shouldn't be forced to accept it either.
No.
You are better than that. Nobody should be forced to just stand there and take something like that, because it's not right. And I hate the way now society looks at it, like, oh, especially in the martial arts community, if you guys don't know, there's like this stigma that we teach people to be violent. And I know you want to read that.
Like, I was just saying hi, Tani. He's just popped in there. Some like crazies walking around in the UK. And what, just before you carry on regarding the martial arts, like I was saying, my uncle's a 13th Dan black belt, and he has his own dojo, and he trains as well. He used to train us at our house, and he used to say to us that when you know martial arts, your body is basically a weapon, and you don't use that weapon unless it's to defend yourself. But before you defend yourself, at first you block. So you block and defend. You don't just go out and fight. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
I
something that you don't do at all.
most people don't know, but legally, if I get into a fight like now, even being security or something else like that, say I get into a fight and I really hurt someone. Well, there better be witnesses and cameras and stuff like that, because I'm registered with police departments, like, and I
Yeah,
train.
so you don't, yeah. When you have trained as like a martial artist, like your body is basically a weapon. I'll tell you. Let me read this comment, and I'll tell you something that tripped my uncle out, which brings the spiritual stuff and martial arts together, which you might find interesting, Zod. But let me just read this quickly. I think there's a difference, though, between just being a violent person and sticking up for yourself. I've had a few fights. Once was because one of my brother's girlfriends got him beat up by 6 men. So I weren't having that. My family is very protective of each other. My family are as well. Like, my brother is so protective of me, and he's my man and all that. But like you said, there's a difference between being a violent person and sticking up for yourself, whether it's from a bully, whether it's from an attack, or what. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can just if you can block and get away, fair enough. But if there's intimate danger and there's a crazy person in front of your face trying to hit you.
Yeah.
The other exception to that too is if you're protecting someone, if you are using what you know to keep somebody safe, is another thing. I remember when we were training, we used to say that too, because one of our kids one time got into a fight, and anytime one of our kids got into a fight, because we did stuff for the schools and stuff, they would call us and we would come in. And, of course, I asked them, what was it about? And one of my students got into a fight, but he was defending another student. And we got into it with the school, but I totally stepped back, because I go, my other big thing is, if you're using what you know to protect someone who can't defend themselves, I don't see that as a thing either. Martial arts, and like you said, it's a spiritual thing too. I know a lot about that and meditations and things, because as you get higher, it becomes more about building yourself up strong mentally, because you have to know when it's appropriate to use what you do. And if you're not mentally able to get that clarity, then you can be a loose cannon. But when I heard that, I was like, one of my kids defended another kid being bullied. This kid had the other kid on the ground and was humbling him, and my student stepped in, and he didn't go crazy. He just flipped him off of the kid. He did an arm thing and twirled him off of him, and the fight basically ended because the kid was stunned. But they were like, well, blah blah blah, and is this what you promote? And I go, no, but I do promote protecting the innocent, protecting others, helping others out. Where's the teachers? Why did you let this massive kid jump on top of this one kid and pummel him? How come my student is breaking up a fight and the teachers are inside talking? I think martial arts does also too help people get clarity and understanding about the world, because like you said, there is a spiritual aspect to it, I believe firmly. And I'll tell you, when I first came back, I was a mess. When I got back into martial arts was when I started getting over what was bothering me. I found mental clarity that really helped me.
It does. It really helps your mental health. And the thing that I was going to tell you before I forget, because it's going to go out my head if I don't say it now. Like, when I got into all my spiritual stuff, I really learned how to channel energy. Like, I don't have a certificate or anything, but I can channel energy, so it helps relieve people's pain and strain, whether it be on your neck or your head or whatever. Spiritualists call it healing, but it's not like you're Jesus or anything. You're just literally transferring energy from one person to the other. Or another word for energy is chi. Now, one time I was at my nana's. I have a big Irish family on my dad's side. My dad's one of 10. Big Irish family. So I was at my nana's, and my uncle came, the one who's the martial artist teacher. And I said to him, I said, Uncle, I don't want to say his name, but I said, Uncle, I said, I know how to channel chi. And he says, you what? You can channel chi? And I said, yeah. And he said, oh, show me then. So he sat down in the chair, and I just went behind him. I was literally went into a deep meditative state, and I just started transferring energy and releasing some of his energy and transferring good energy, chi, whatever you want to call it. And he was blown away, because he knew that I hadn't like training that, you know, in martial arts, and it's a big part of it. Is to connect in with your chi, to connect in with your energy. And he was amazed that you know, his little niece, who he's not seen for years, knew how to do this. And it was so connected into my spiritual path to be able to connect in with the energy and how to release, because I'm an empath, so I pick up on people's energies all the time. Like when I go in a room, if there's somebody who's angry, I can, if I don't have my like thing up, I can pick up that energy, and I'll start feeling that anger myself, or sadness, or whatever. Well, take care, Anna. Take care. Thank you for coming. That's Tai Chi. Well, Tai Chi is a form of martial arts where you're getting like negative energy out of your own body, and then transferring it and bringing positive energy into your body. That's right, and it's odd.
Yeah, it's also Tai Chi also uses kinetic energy to it's almost as if you could literally tap somebody, but it could be a blow because of the force behind it. Give you guys an example. My master who trained me, we sparred. So if you guys don't know what sparring is, it's basically like a fake bout. He kicked me, okay, but I jumped back. Now, the way I dodged, and you know, I'm not bragging it up. I'm fairly quick. I am not very powerful, but my thing is speed. I bank on being able to get in and get out as quickly as possible. There's a joke there. Anyways, but sorry, that was my male ego. I apologize.
Okay.
But anyways, I went to do a punch, and I noticed he was clicking, so I dodged back. Now, I'm pretty good at judging distance and stuff like that. That's part of being able to make an effective attack. He had such power that when he kicked, he did not hit me with the kick. I didn't feel nothing. It like brushed up against me, but I went flying out of our ring that we were doing. And I can't explain it to this day, but there's a lot of things in martial arts circles that some people, particularly monks, really high practitioners, when you get to a certain point in martial arts, it's almost like encouraged that a lot of it is not as much physical training as people think. I mean, there's a lot of physical training. You got to stay in shape, but it becomes more about controlling the amount of force and really, I don't know how to explain it without getting, like you said, the best way to put it is it's a spiritual thing. It's outputting energy, and I've seen it. I've literally seen people who, if you see them punch something, it looks like they barely connected with it, or they tapped it, and they like a board break. Like they'll tap the board literally, and it'll just smash apart. Like stuff like that. Like there's almost, and I've done some meditations, and I gotta say, like sometimes I've had a feeling of like, see, I don't want to get into like sound all weird, but it's like it's like rushes of
Totally.
energy and a clearness,
Yeah.
like everything empties and something greater opens up. And for a lot of martial artists, that's what you're striving to achieve. You're striving to achieve perfect control over your mind and your body. And I tell my daughter this all the time, but the mind controls the body. No matter what anyone wants to say, your mind is very powerful. And,
Yes.
you know, the military has even said, like, when I was in the service, if you've noticed, 90% of what the military does is mental, right? Every exercise, every bit of training is designed to break you down mentally. Why is that? Because they want to break down that old person you are and rebuild you to the person they need you to be to serve as. Like when I went in, every exercise, everything they said, they even said negative things, right? But it's to attack your insecurities. They are breaking you as a human to rebuild you, to have a better control over who you are, to know who you are. Because, you know, at the end of the day, what is life, right? We all know got to figure out. A lot of us are still trying to figure out who we are, where we fit in the world. And the military speeds that up. I can't always say it's a positive thing. I went through spec ops training, and that was like the seventh circle of hell. But everything they did was to make you feel miserable, to strain you mentally, and it's to push your mind to go beyond what you think your limits are. Because the reality is, everybody, and this is some good advice to anybody in the chat right now, you are more capable and you are stronger than you possibly know. And I've seen it. I've seen people, the skinniest people, do the bravest things. It does not matter your height, your weight, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, hell, whether you're a child. We are all capable of amazing things. And half the time, people stand in their own ways for being who they are. And that's really what martial arts and even some aspects of the service are about. It's about being the best person you could be. And I strongly believe that with all of my heart. I wouldn't have done either of them if I didn't.
Tanya and Laura are giving you a new name, Zodley.
Thank you. I did go into a bit of a philosophical, right? But that's what I used to tell my kids. You know, the greatest feeling for me, everybody used to ask me, like, do you like learning new badass moves and stuff? Let me tell you something, and I'm not saying this to kind of sound psychopathic or whatever, but breaking someone's wrist or throwing them in the air, it's easy. I could teach anyone how to do that. That's not, I can show anybody, even if they're $120, how you can throw someone 300 pounds over your shoulder. No problem. You won't even hurt yourself. You'll be amazed. But that's not what interests me. What did for me was, I'll never forget one Christmas. I was feeling kind of down because a friend of mine had passed away, someone I served with on Christmas. And so it's always been a tough time for me. And my students knew that because I let my students get to know me. You know, that's the only way you can teach them. And they all brought me Christmas cards. And I had some of them come to me now talking about how they got into college because of the things I taught them. And they wanted to thank me. And that, to me, is the most rewarding feeling of teaching anybody anything. It's like, wow, I affected this human being's life. Like, I altered the course of their thinking to be better because of what I did. And I think that, to me, is what any master, any good martial artist is striving to do, is to make change positively and put out positive energy. Yeah.
Well, that's the most important thing. Tanya says, of course you can't survive without your brain.
Tanya, so sassy. So sassy.
Oh, Laura, she's like, where's the button to switch off? So I love Zod's ranting, though. I do. I love you ranting, Zod.
I do too. I like listening.
Thank you. I'm sorry, people. I get on a tangent, nerves get inspired. I apologize. I'm just trying to put out positivity in the world. You know, I'm always ranting about angry things. Sometimes I like to be positive.
Keeley,
Yeah.
I need to jump over on JFD's stream.
Okay, love. Yeah, I'm gonna
Thank
end
you.
it anyway. Thank
Okay,
you,
well, thank you
Phantasmagorical.
so much for having me. I really enjoy being over here. I really do.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
And have you got anything coming up, Fanta, on your channel before you go?
No, not really. No. I want to do some videos, but I guess I got to be in the right mood or mind frame for it. So, but I'm thinking of things.
Okay, love. Well, I might see you over there in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye,
We'll keep
everybody. Bye,
Bye,
Zon.
Fanta. Always good to see you.
You too. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Oh. What have you got coming up, Zad? I know you're live in a bit, aren't you?
Yeah, tonight, if you guys want to hear more ramblings of Madman, I'm going to be over on my channel, Mr. Zod's Phantom Zone. Of course, my ramblings will be cut off by the great Mr. Pop Culture PB because, he keeps me reined in. So he'll probably be ranting at me about ranting. So if you guys want to see some funny commentary, we're going to be doing that. We're going to have 2 shows. We'll have one on Friday, which is tonight at 12 p.m.
Which will be Saturday. Saturday morning.
And Saturday, yeah. And then Sunday, for everybody out there, if you're on the fence, I will be doing a spoiler review on the new Suicide Squad, but I will do the first half will be spoiler free in case you want to see it. But if you want to know for sure if you like it on Sunday, I'll probably have my daughter over, but I'm going to give you guys an in-depth review. I'm going to point out things I like, things I don't like, which is very few. So I'm going to be completely in 100% bias. But, disclaimer, but there were very few things that I didn't like. I mean, I do got my things, and I'll mention them when I do my review. But it's going to be a full breakdown, and I'm going to go over everything that was in the movie, what was at the end of the movie, because it's got 2 post-credit scenes. And I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on what I think the future is. And yeah, I'm actually looking forward to talking about something good for once, like a good piece of media that I've seen. I saw freaking G.I. Joe and He-Man, and they both wrecked me. And now I get to actually talk about like something that didn't disappoint me. So it's going to be great.
Oh, that's good. Make sure you check that out, guys, later. It's funny because I said that the stream was probably only going to be an hour long, and I've gone like 2 hours and 22 minutes. But thank you all for coming. I have got a video coming up about resilience, which is basically me just reading this book about resilience, but it's got really good tips on how to get where you've been in like negative experiences and get strength from that to help you be stronger, and I love that. So that'll be coming hopefully soon. I got to talk a little bit, Tanya. Tanya says, did you get to talk during any of the stream, Keela? A little bit. I did a little bit of ranting. I was ranting at the beginning, Tanya. You missed that. But obviously I'll be live on Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. UK, 5:30 p.m. EST, doing my readings. I didn't actually do any different divination tonight, so I still need to do that at some point. To do a reading about this case and what's going to be going on with it. Obviously, I'm too tired now to do that, and I might be on Zod's later. He said he's going to send me a link as well. We'll see if I'm awake.
Yeah, and we got to get you to 1,000. So
yes, I've just hit 600. I'm on 607, I think, at the moment. Well, yeah. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Zad, for coming as well. All you guys have been amazing. There's people who have stayed here from the beginning, 2.5 hours. So thank you
Yeah,
guys.
these poor people, Keely. I am so sorry. I have some subjected to them to like an hour of me talking. So I apologize for ruining your stellar reputation here. I'm someone said, "What does my girl say?" And I'll let you in. She tells me to shut up all the time. If you only only she'll roll her eyes, or she'll do that thing. I don't know if you've ever done this, but she'll do that thing where she'll pretend to listen to me, and then midway through, I'll be like, "And how do you feel about that?" And she'll go, "Yeah, that's great, honey." Like, and I'll just go on my way. So yes, bitchy does suffer. Clearly she loves me, because if you guys think I rant now, I talk a lot at home. So
Catalyst says, we love your motor mouth, Zad.
oh, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you all for coming. See you for the next one. And have a good day, morning, evening, night, whatever.
See you guys later.
Ta-ra.